Hey everybody, thought I'd give you a different view today. I normally film videos from over there, and today I am here. So the theme for Shiny Happy Vloggy People this week was the 30-second video. Now of course my Shiny Happy Vloggy People videos, and indeed my Band Geek 8408 videos, tend to run between 7 and 7.5 minutes long. So this was a challenge for me, but I did it, and it was kind of fun. So the other part of this week was a challenge to post a video on our personal channels before the end of the week. I think this was largely done in response to some people's comments that certain members of the Shiny Happy Vloggy People had not posted videos on their personal channels for quite a while. And it's a good idea, there's just one problem with it. I have 2 channels. Now on Vlog Driver I post a video any week anyway, so that one really doesn't count. And so this is my response to the Shiny Happy Vloggy People challenge here on my actual personal channel. How am I doing so far? Well, there are a lot of things to talk about this week. I covered the election pretty thoroughly in Vlog Driver. Simply put, Barack Obama won, and I'm very happy about that. So on Halloween, I went to visit my friend Lauren from college, and it was a fun time. We carved pumpkins, we handed out candy to little kids. Lauren dressed up as Sylar from Heroes, and I dressed up as HRG. And then the next morning was November 1st, and it was the first day of NaNoWriMo, or possibly NaNoWriMo. Now for those of you who don't know, and I understand a lot of people don't, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. It's the month of November. It's been around for 10 years now, and basically all these people get together online and they agree to write a 50,000 word novel in a month. And because I have a certain amount of difficulty finishing things that I start, in particular things that I start writing, I decided to take up the challenge and give it a try this year. And so on midnight on November 1st, I was still over at Lauren's. We had just finished watching Halloween, and I took out a notebook and I started writing. Wasn't even really sure what I was writing about at that point. I just wrote what came into my head. And so for the remainder of this illustrious video, I am going to read to you that first bit that I wrote on November the 1st. For some reason, autumn always gave me the inescapable sense that the world was ending. By late October, most everything that had been teeming with life just a few months before is dead. Grass stops growing, leaves litter the ground. Trees are neither bunches of bare branches nor a collection of colorful leaves, but some morbid combination of the two. Meanwhile, the weather gets colder, the wind blows harder, and everyone rushes inside to their heaters to escape the weather, and the outside world becomes even more dead. But more than that is the sense that this is a process, something that is continuous, unstoppable, and is therefore going to get worse before it gets better. I like to take long walks on days like that. They made me feel contemplative somehow, about the end of the world, that is, and I can never help but think, if this is the end of the world, it's not so bad. But that was the thing. The world had already ended. I hadn't been around to see it, you understand. It had happened during my grandfather's generation. And the thing that he always impressed upon us was the fact that it hadn't happened in an instant. He didn't just wake up one morning, look out the window and say, "Oh look, the world's ended." It was a drawn-out process, with roots as far back as his grandfather's generation. There had been the Great Disaster, of course, but he told us that the Great Disaster was nothing more than a culmination of events. The end, he said, had been a long time in coming. Grandpa hadn't been much affected by it. Our family lived in the very northernmost part of Maine, well away from the major cities that had suffered in the Great Disaster. All that changed, he said, was that families and individuals had to conserve a little more, share a little more, suffer a little more, and that, he said, was no bad thing. So for those of us who were born after the disaster, this is just the world we live in. We have no concept of what the end is like, because we weren't there as it happened. At least that's what Grandpa tells us. But every time I take one of those long autumn walks, I start to get a little bit of an inkling of what happened. The cold, the dying, the waiting, the world holding its breath, waiting for winter to come. Alright, I think that adequately fulfills my obligation to the Shiny Happy Vloggy people. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Also, I'm slowly figuring out my editing software, and so now I can do things like this. Sing on!